It's come down to this. Max Kellerman and Rich Paul are so desperate now that they're trying to shame people into putting LeBron James into the top 3 NBA all time. So many people are against it. So many people don't have him first, second, even third, that they're trying their best now to actually shame people into doing it by saying that if you don't include LeBron James in the top 3 of the NBA all-time players, you can't be taken seriously anymore. That's what they're saying. They're also responding to Charles Barkley saying that LeBron James is ring chasing going to Philadelphia. This is kind of crazy and interesting, so we definitely got to talk about it. So we have Max Kellerman and Rich Paul on their Honest podcast trying to shame people into putting LeBron James into the top 3 in the NBA all time. They're saying you can't make a list without him being in the top 3. There's no way. If you want to be taken seriously, no way. That's what they're trying to say. Now, they're also trying to rewrite history a little bit with Charles Barkley because Barkley made criticizing comments against LeBron James saying he's ring chasing going to Philadelphia. So Rich Paul's trying to, of course, his best to explain why it's not ring chasing because LeBron James is just trying to win. And then Max Kellerman is also trying to do everything he possibly can to rewrite some history and say that Charles Barkley basically ring chased going to the Houston Rockets. No mention of the stage of his career, nothing like that. They specifically make sure not to include the context because context always destroys their argument. So let me get into their comments and I'll comment on them as they go. So here you go.
First of all, he has 4 rings, right? However many gold medals and all the records in the NBA. So I don't know what ring chasing does for him in this regard. Like if you're saying he's ring chasing with a negative connotation, there's nothing else. LeBron has had 1, 2, 3, 4. He's had 4 careers in one.
Now, hold on a second. Rich Paul just said that LeBron James has 4 Hall of Fame careers in his entire career. Let me just show you a clip that kind of proves to me that all these narratives about LeBron, especially to ESPN guys, are coming from Rich Paul, and ESPN just parrots them. Here you go.
LeBron has had 1, 2, 3, 4. He's had 4 careers in one.
LeBron has so Tom Haberstroh, our former colleague, now he's at Yahoo. He says LeBron has 3 Hall of Fame careers. I say he's got 4.
Now that was a little weird, wasn't it? But let's keep going.
Right? So if you just take his first 7 years in Cleveland, he's arguably a Hall of Famer. 7 years, first 7 years.
Sure.
If you take the 4 years in Miami and the 4 years if you just take the 4 years in Miami, he's also a Hall of Famer.
I agree. Although
Okay.
not technically because you need more years, but yeah.
Yeah, but body of work,
yeah.
he's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Then if you take the 4 years in Cleveland, he's a Hall of Famer again, right? And if you take the 8 years in L.A., he's also a Hall of Famer because in his 8 years in L.A., he has won championship, went to Western Conference Finals, had some good seasons, whatever, but has the same as many championships as Giannis, as Joker, as Shea, as Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown,
And
as
spent roughly the same number of years as the best player in the game.
Now tell me, what is the difference between the guys that he mentioned? He said Giannis, Joker, Tatum, Brown. What is the difference between LeBron James's championships and those guys that he just mentioned? Giannis, in the team that he played, he never ring chased on that team. He stayed there until he won a title, I believe in his 8th year or 7th year or whatever that might be. It was the team that drafted him. He won a title with them. Then they traded him. Joker, he won with the team that drafted him. No problem. He's still playing on it. Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, they went to the Boston Celtics. They won with the team that they were with from the start. That's the difference. They didn't team up with the opposition to ring chase and win championships. Every single player that he just named won the championship in a different, the correct way. They didn't do what Stockton accused LeBron James of doing. They didn't take the helicopter to the top of the mountain. They climbed the mountain. They did it the way it's supposed to be done. They didn't join the competition. They beat it. Let's keep going.
As them,
Right.
even in LA.
So I think, you see peers, they have a list and they may leave them off purposely because for whatever reason, and that's just their opinion.
What list?
Top 5, like their all-time list. But everyone's entitled to their own opinion. I do agree with that. Like, you can't get mad at somebody for having their opinion.
I disagree.
Now, hold on a second. There's recently come out news that some of the top NBA players and ex-NBA players don't have LeBron James in their top 3 or top 5. Now, they're saying that top NBA talent that used to play in the NBA, ex-NBA players, cannot be taken seriously if they don't have LeBron in the top 3, Max Kellerman is going to say right now. That Max Kellerman has more authority on making a list like this than ex-NBA players who were top dogs in the league. This is where we've gotten to. They're trying to shame people into putting this dude in the conversation. They're trying to shame people. Listen up. That's exactly what he's going to try to say.
It should just be whatever I say.
Okay,
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, you're talking about top 5 players of all time. If that's
No,
their,
there's no real list that doesn't have LeBron in the top
we
5.
understand that, but it's still their opinion. No problem. But then you get to a whole nother space. So
There's
when you talk
no
about,
real list I'm trying to think. Could you possibly put together a list
in no position the
that
top
doesn't
5
have
ever.
LeBron
No.
in the top 3?
No, I don't see it.
I don't not if you want to be taken seriously.
Yeah,
Not
I
if
mean,
you
look,
want to be taken.
whatever.
You can't.
That's why you
could
can't-
say, "Oh, Bill Russell and Wilt Chamberlain," but if you want to be taken seriously, you can't have LeBron not in the top.
But that's
3.
why you can't take it serious, which I don't. The other thing is, I would say in terms of ring chasing. Now, getting back to the ring chasing piece of it, I just try to identify what do you mean by that? Because if you're punishing him or critiquing him for wanting to be competitive and having a real chance of winning, then that actually says a lot about you, because what else you supposed to do, right? The man's he's playing on a minimum contract.
What else are you supposed to do to win a championship? Win a championship without trying to stack your team every freaking opportunity you get. To be considered a true winner of a championship, you go against the top competition in the NBA and beat them, not join them. Listen, Giannis didn't have a true superstar with him. He won a chip. Dirk Nowitzki didn't have a true superstar with him. He won a chip. If you look at even at Nikola Jokic, you got Murray on there, but Murray kind of borderline between the superstar and not. Sometimes he's there, sometimes he disappears. He won a chip. Like, come on. LeBron James, every single time he won, he had 2 other stars or superstars with him on the team, and he made sure of it. So let's keep listening.
At the end of the day, the ring chasing piece, again, it just confuses me because
look.
he has rings.
Here's the ring chasing. And the funny thing is, and now people are finally putting reels out about Barkley, but I've always thought this.
I give Barkley
Charles Barkley hadn't won a championship. He's one of the best players in the league.
Mm-hmm.
He was barely, he was in a group with Magic, and Bird, but he hadn't won a championship. Magic, Bird, Isaiah, and Barkley and Hakeem were all like, there was Jordan, and then there was that tier of guys who were all, you could rank them, probably it was Bird and Magic and Hakeem, a little bit above Barkley and Isaiah. But Barkley really was like one of those guys. But
Barkley was a real guy.
But
You
he was
kidding
the
me?
only one who didn't have a ring. Like Karl Malone was not in that group. Barkley was. And so Barkley, toward the end of his career, got himself out of Philly and went to.
That wasn't towards the end.
Yeah, no, but it
Yeah.
was okay. Fine,
That
you're
wasn't
right.
towards the end,
Not
yeah.
toward the end, but
Yeah. Houston
well,
was
first it
towards the end.
right.
Yes.
That's Phoenix. He was still the great Charles Barkley.
was MVP
but
at
he was
Phoenix.
still very good when he got himself out of Phoenix and wound up, because I said out of Philly, but he wound up eventually on Houston, and he wound up on Houston right after they won the championship.
Yeah, that was
he was
towards the end.
joining a Hakeem Clyde team.
So here's the manipulation by Max Kellerman and Rich Paul. They almost skipped over the Phoenix Suns years, but doesn't matter. Rich Paul said, oh, that wasn't the end of his career either, because he was a great player in Phoenix. He was the MVP. Yes, he was the MVP at age 29 in Phoenix the first year. He played 4 years in Phoenix. The only time that he went to Houston was when he was turning, the year he was turning 34 years old, past his prime. He went to the Houston Rockets. And also, Max Kellerman lied here. He said he joined the Houston Rockets right after they won the championship. That is completely fake. Completely fake. The Houston Rockets won the championship in the season of 94-95. That was their second championship that they won. They won it against the Orlando Magic 4-0. They swept the Magic in that finals. That was 94-95. The next season, Charles Barkley didn't join them the next season. The next season, they got swept in the second round by the Seattle Supersonics. They got swept in the second round by the Seattle Supersonics. So Charles Barkley wasn't joining a championship Houston Rockets. Charles Barkley was joining a team that got swept in the second round by the Seattle Supersonics that were defeated by the Chicago Bulls in 95-96 in the NBA Finals. So that's already lying and trying to rewrite history. They just completely skip over the season where Houston got swept, and they make it seem like Charles Barkley is joining a defending NBA champion, which is completely, that's what they do. They never give you the right context. They give you information and context that's made in a way to fit their narrative. They always manipulate it. Always. They always manipulate it, and they always come out with BS like this. You know what I'm saying? So this is not right. That's rewriting history. If you want to say something, say it right. And Charles Barkley went to Houston when he was 4 years old that same season. 34. He didn't have a title. He never joined anybody to chase a title or whatever. And then he got traded. He didn't join up as a free agent. He got traded from the Phoenix Suns to the Houston Rockets that were nowhere near being the championship after that season, because they got swept in the second round. So don't give me that bullshit.
No, not Gemma. But the point was,
Not at that
they were champions, right? Like he was trying to, and the thinking at the time was, look, Houston had just gone back to back. Now MJ came back, and Houston loaded it up to the sky.
Yeah.
Couldn't get over MJ. So Barkley's.
But they didn't have to play against the Bulls. They didn't make it there.
Right, they didn't even make it that far.
Yeah.
So Barkley, who is one of my all-time I think Barkley is the best person in media, period. Like myself and everybody included, he's the guy. He's the most entertaining
Pound
guy.
for pound, he's had the best signature shoe.
Barkley's
Basketball
incredible.
signature
But
shoe.
about this, he's being hypocritical because when he has said it, because he did the exact same thing. Now, was he ring chasing? Yes, of course he was.
Now you saw it again. They specifically skip over the season where the Houston Rockets got swept by the Seattle Supersonics. Max Kellerman is literally telling you they just went back to back, and Charles Barkley was joining NBA champions from last season. That's literally what he said. He knows he's wrong, but he's going to present it in a way that Rich Paul wants him to present it. Otherwise, What the hell's Max Kellerman going to do? His career is freaking over. Nobody wants him. Rich Paul got him. So he's trying to do everything to stay afloat. He will kiss their ass and bury himself with it, his credibility. And then he goes on and says Charles Barkley did exactly the same thing that LeBron James did and ring chased. Are you freaking serious? Max Kellerman sold out, man. Like 100% sold out. Bending over backwards to make sure the narrative that Rich Paul wants to push is being pushed. He don't care about nothing no more. That's how bad it's gotten. They're trying to rewrite history. They're lying in your face, and they know their followers are too freaking lazy to check on any of this stuff. They just parrot shit. They hear it, they repeat it. They hear it, they repeat it. They're lazy as hell. So many times I call out people, LeBron James fans, about some stuff that they're spreading. I'm like, do your research, check this shit out. And then I point it out to them. You get no freaking response, or you get insults. So it's freaking ridiculous, but it is what it is. Let me know what you guys think about this, because they're lying straight into your face. Like, share, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.